Okay, so for tonight, I would like to speak about some ideas from Rebbe Nachman about Chanukah. And I think that one of the things Rebbe Nachman puts as the thing, what Chanukah is all about, is that he looks at Chanukah as the holiday of outreach. He looks at Chanukah as the holiday of that everybody should understand that they have an effect on the people around them, and they have an obligation and responsibility to have an effect on the people around them. And that is really what is being symbolized by the lighting the Chanukah candles, and that it's all about spreading light. It's all about spreading light, and this is like Chabad is the kings of this, obviously, and the fact that they put these big Chanukah lightings in the middle of who knows where, and they're like literally to make that our Judaism shouldn't be something in the privacy of our homes, which is really what the essence, the beginning of the Reform movement, which is really the beginning of secularism in the Jewish people. It all started from this. It all started from the idea that to be a German in the street and to be a Jew in your home. Okay, that your Judaism is something personal. Your Judaism is something that you do when you're in private, but when you're in public, so that you keep it to yourself. You keep your Judaism to yourself, and from that idea, from that ideology, came all of the secularism. Like the fact that we're in this existence right now, that I don't know, that's like such a small percentage of the Jewish people is religious. It's all because of this movement. It's all because of the Reform movement, which brought about secularism, which all began with this. It began with the fact that they want to make this divorce between the way that I am between me and Hashem, and the way that I'm out in the streets, about the fact that I'm spreading myself. And of course there's many other things that the Reform movement brought into the world, but for our purposes, this is really the beginning of the most dangerous thing in Jewish history. That the biggest danger to Judaism having continuity was this very idea of that is our Judaism something that we keep to ourselves, or is our Judaism something that we flaunt, something that we put out in the streets, that we want the world to be able to benefit from our light? Okay, and so it's actually very ironic that Chanukah is the holiday that made it, that outdid the Reform movement, outdid secularism, that outdid all of the people that are so disconnected, the people that are the most disconnected from Judaism, that there is nothing, they have no problem with intermarriage, they have no problem with certainly with keeping any mitzvah in the entire Torah, but the one thing they do is they don't fast in Yom Kippur, but they light Chanukah candles. It's such a, like, Hashem has the last laugh. Hashem has like a good sense of humor that the holiday of spreading light, of not keeping your Judaism yourself, that is the one thing that keeps to the people that are in the darkest places, the people that are the most disconnected, the people that it's a miracle that they even know that they're Jewish, but Chanukah they have, and that's really because this is what the essence of Chanukah is that our light needs to spread. So I'm going to be basing tonight's class on a teaching in Rebbe Nachman in Likkutei Moharan, and this is the 14th Torah Yud Daled. The Chanukah was a very special holiday to Rebbe Nachman. There was 3 times that Rebbe Nachman had set classes that he would give, and the rest of it, he didn't give every week. He didn't give every day. There were only three times a year that he had set times that he would give teachings, and that is Rosh Hashanah, Shavuos, and Chanukah. And that's why at the time, so he would have all of his Hasidim. He would want all of his Hasidim to come to him to be together for Chanukah, Shavuos, and Purim, and Chanukah. And so a lot of his Torahs are on the parashiyos about these weeks, Vayeshev and Miketz, and about Chanukah itself. And so this is one of his big ones. This is one of his deepest teachings, and so it can be found in Torah Yud Daled. And he says he starts the Torah about something called Torat Chesed. Torat Chesed it's a term that we use. It's a term that we use in the davening. That Torat Chesed it's on the Psukim. Torat Chesed al Shana. We say in Eshes Chayil that she has Torat Chesed, and so what does it mean Torat Chesed? The Torah of kindness. What does it mean Torah of kindness? Torah of kindness is that Torah that you use to share with somebody else. That I want to give you something. So what do I give you? I give you Torah. So that's to share Torah. That's called Torah's Chesed. So he says, what is Torah's Chesed all about? Torah's Chesed is all about spreading Hashem's kavod. It's kavod. Kavod. The word kavod it means honor or dignity, and the connotation of the word kavod is specifically about how I express myself, how I find myself, how other people perceive me, and I'm aware of the fact that other people perceive me, and so that's why the Rebbe Nachman would say that he would call his clothing his kavod, because your clothing is the way that you express yourself, the way that you show yourself out. This is what I represent. That by the symbols that you have, wearing a kippah is a statement. The way that a person dresses, it's not just having symbols on your. It's even in style. The person says something about this. I'm a colorful person. I'm a black and white person. I'm a dull person. I'm a preppy person. I'm a flowy person. There's the way we dress. The way they dress says something about who we are. And so clothing. He would call his clothing his kavod, because his kavod is his expression, and the way that he presents himself to the world. So it says that the kavod of Hashem is the expression of Hashem. The kavod of Hashem, the honor of Hashem, is in the fact that Hashem is expressed. That if Hashem is going to be just in the privacy of people's homes, but the world is going to be an atheist world, the world is going to be a world of nature, a world where there's no supernatural, where there's no godly involvement, so then that's a world that Hashem doesn't have any kavod. Hashem doesn't have any honor. So the way, the Rebbe Nachman says, the way that we bring the kavod of Hashem, to spread kavod shemayim, to spread the honor of God, is specifically with Torah's Chesed, which is teaching Torah, which is spreading Torah. And he says that based on the teachings of the Zohar, that the greatest kavod is when even the non-Jews, they come and they recognize Hashem. And he quotes from the Zohar, when the non-Jews come and they recognize God, so at that moment the name of God becomes honored. Above and below. So he says that's what happens when Yitro became Jewish. When he recognized that now he realized that Hashem is greater than all the other gods in the world. So that was the greatest kavod Hashem. That was the greatest honor to God's name. And so he says, the person that's outside of the kedusha, so to speak, when they become people on the outside, become on the inside. So whether that means converts, whether that means somebody who's not Jewish, that became Jewish, or it's the same thing, a person who is not religious. Even a person is Jewish, but if they didn't know about what it means to be Jewish, and then they understood more what it becomes to become Jewish, and I'm sure that he means that it doesn't just mean that you used to be secular and now you keep Shabbos. It means that on every level of tshuva, and any level that a person used to be, that not really feeling it, not really connected, not really inspired, and they become a little bit more inspired. So that much they were on the outside, and so coming from the outside to the inside, so that is expressing Hashem's glory in the world. That zehu kvodo. So this is a fascinating, remarkable statement in Rebbe Nachman. To the best of my knowledge, Rebbe Nachman is the only one that speaks so openly about the fact that bringing converts into the fold is an expression of kavod shemayim, is an expression of spreading Hashem's glory, and he says that he says in the same breath that just like it's an important thing to bring people that don't know what it means to be Jewish, to help them understand what it means to be Jewish, in the same breath he says that it's an amazing thing to bring people from the outside, literally, from people who are not Jewish to become Jewish. And he says that all of this is under the umbrella of Kavod Hashem. So then he says that this is what Chanukah is all about. So he writes, Shemitzvata lahadlik samuch lepetach habayit. That where is the mitzvah? To light Chanukah licht, to light Chanukah candles. So where do we do it? We do it in the Petach HaBayit, and the entrance. And that is Because when we're lighting candles, so that is he'arat hakavod, is taking Hashem's glory and spreading the light. That the land should shine from His glory. And that's why we do it at the entrance, in the doorway, the Pesachila. So how do we bring Hashem's kavod when we make Bali Tshuva, when we make converts, when we bring people from the outside to the inside? So we do that with the petach. So the idea of the petach is that your Judaism should not be in the privacy of your own home. Your Judaism should be on display. It should be at your entrance to your house, that shining to the street, shining to everyone around you, and that is the way that you should look at your kedusha. That whatever light you have inside of you, whatever light you have inside of your soul, whatever light you have inside of your home. So the way that we should relate to that light is specifically by putting it on display, by putting it in the petach. So in other words, Rebbe Nachman is saying that Chanukah is the holiday of outreach. It is the holiday of spreading light, as the holiday of not keeping our light to ourselves. Okay, and of course this is the natural response to the fact that the Greeks wanted to extinguish our flame, that they wanted our fire to non-exist, to take away our connection with God, to take away our connection with Judaism. And so the natural response to the desire to extinguish the fire is to spread the fire. Okay? It's not enough to when somebody's trying to put you out, so it's not enough to say, no, I'm not going to allow myself to be extinguished. The response is that I'm going to spread the fire. Okay? I once heard from Rebbe Shapiro, Zechron Livracha, that we say in Al Nisim, the Danta Antinam, Hashem, you judge them, Ravta et Rivam, you fought for them, Nakamta et Nikmatam, you took revenge on them. So yes, what does it mean we took revenge on them? We understand that they wanted to kill us, and they wanted to destroy our Judaism, they wanted to annihilate our connection with Hashem, and He didn't allow it to happen. Okay? And Judaism lives on. What's the revenge? I said, that's not revenge. So he said that the revenge is that the essence of the holiday of Chanukah is that not only are we going to not allow ourselves to be extinguished, we're going to spread the light. Because of you, Antiochus, because you wanted to extinguish this light. So every single year, so it's going to get even bigger. There's going to be even more Jews every single year, and you know why? Because of you, Antiochus. That's the biggest revenge. So he's rolling over in his grave. I don't know where he's buried. Probably somewhere in Greece. and he's like, so he is vomiting every Chanukah, every time that he sees these beautiful kumsitzes going out on side. So it's like Hashem has a special megaphone going into Antiochus' ears, and he's hearing how every single Chanukah. So this is the biggest outrage. He's hearing about the fact the people that are the most detached from Judaism, that they would have totally been assimilated. They would have totally been off the grid Jewishly, but because of this Greek king called Antiochus, because of Antiochus, so they're still connected, and that is the greatest revenge. That is the greatest in your face that we have to Antiochus. So Rebbe Nachman is saying that this is the holiday of outreach. And I remember I once saw this piece in Likkutei Moharan. Likkutei Moharan is somewhat of a biographical book about Rebbe Nachman, and so he writes over here how Rebbe Nachman would talk about the obligation of outreach, the obligation to not keep your Judaism to yourself, to feel the responsibility to the people around you, and he writes like this: Kama pa'amim hayamadaber harbe mano. Rebbe Nachman would speak to us, and he would tell us how important it is to bring people close to Hashem. That to make sure to have conversations with people who are not connected, in order to inspire them, and to bring them close to Hashem. And he explained that what I mean is I don't mean that you have to tell them a Dvar Torah. You don't have to say, hey, Do you believe in God? Do you mind if I prove to you that there's a God? It's not like that. He said, just be nice to them. Just take these people and just smile at them and just invite them to your house and just give them food to eat and just talk about just have a nice conversation about the weather. You never know. You never know. Like they might ask you, like, hey, by the way, while we're talking, like what is that thing on your head? What is that Star of David around your head? Like why do you wear? And you never know. You're like from just a simple smile. So it might come that you're able to inspire him to come closer to Hashem. Even if the only thing that you're going to do is something tiny. Even if the whole experience is that he says, you know what, I'll also wear a Star of David. That's it. That's the only thing. There's the only thing that's also worth it. Even if it's just for that moment that they want to be a little bit more Jewish, that they want to be a little bit more close. So even for that, it's worth it. You never know. They might come back to you. And it might be that after enough times that they actually want to serve Hashem, they actually want to be real Jews. I remember the first time I saw this piece, so I was actually in Uman. Wow. I was actually in by Rebbe Nachman's Zion, and I remember like I wasn't Rosh Hashanah, and I remember like feeling very much that he was talking to me. I very like this was a message that was sent to me that like I wasn't sure, like is this an important thing? Should I go for this as part of my life mission? And like I remember feeling that this was like this it wasn't by chance that I happened to open up to this page, and this was like I'm getting my answer that this is what I need to put my efforts into. And so he says that, so he writes how important it is, and he wants all of his students to do this. And he quotes from the Zohar how important this is, and he says he would rebuke us and he would ridicule us that we're not trying hard enough when it comes to these things. That we're lazy when it comes to these things. That it takes guts, it takes effort to open up a conversation with a complete stranger. It takes emotional strength. You have to overcome your social anxiety. You have to. It's not easy. Not everybody does it naturally, and he insisted that we do. He insisted that we overcome whatever it is, and. Once he called us, he rebuked us that you're just a bunch of dry trees, just dry wood. You guys are just dry wood. That meaning that like if you help other people, then you're alive, then you're spreading, then you're full of moisture. But if you're just like wither, if you're not spreading, then you're just withering, and like you're just a bunch of dry wood.
My favorite mitzvah that I learned is, if you say good Shabbos to another person who doesn't keep Shabbat, and they say good Shabbos back to you, you just made them, like, they just performed
the mitzvah of Kiddush, right? Beautiful.
And when I learned that, I was like, mind blown.
You went to Tel Aviv and you're like, good Shabbos.
Yeah. There's a lot of mitzvahs to do in Tel Aviv. Yes. And they don't mind, it doesn't, they when they say good Shabbos, like they can be smoking the cigarette and like they're saying, Shabbat Shalom. Like, and it's not a contradiction, and one day they'll realize that, it is a good Shabbos. Maybe I should stop smoking on Shabbos, then. What?
This is the first step also.
Yeah. So he would. So he really was very into this, and he thought it was so important, and he said he also, by the way, like parenthetically, when he writes about Kiruv, he has a bit of a critique on the Kiruv world. He says that he doesn't appreciate people that they are involved in outreach, but they only do outreach to the low class people. Their outreach is only for the homeless people, or the people that are on the street, the people that don't have jobs, people that are, there's something so fascinating about this, because it's really true. Like there is like a type of personality that you can get them when they're very
Down.
Yeah, when nothing is going for them, so like they need meaning in their life, and they're just dying for something, so you can get them, and like those are the people that and the people that are successful. So like they don't need Judaism. So it creates this culture that like if you're a successful person, then you're atheist, and if you're like in jail, a lot of people become super religious in jail. No, because when you need something, when like everything and so like it makes a bad reputation for Judaism. And he didn't appreciate that there's like if you have a kiruv organization, that everybody in the kiruv organization is like socially awkward, and like it's like I know this yeshiva, like there's a kiruv yeshiva that like I noticed like the guys that go there, like they're all a little bit weird, and like not everybody, but you know what I mean. Like there's a person a person who's just a little bit unstable. A person who's a little bit unstable, that so like this, for the same reason that they're unstable about anything in life, for the same reason that they're just like that they can't keep a job and they can't keep a relationship. So for that same reason, so they also can't keep religious a commitment. So my parents are Christian, so I'll become Jewish. Or my parents are atheists, and I'll become super fanatic. It's just like very, very whimsical, very, very wishy-washy in everything they do. And that's what connects them. That's what makes them attracted to Judaism. And so Rebbe Nachman said that he doesn't like that. That he thinks that kiruv should be done to accomplished people, and you should go to the PhDs and go to the CEOs and go to the higher class people, and those are the people, the big shots. When they become religious, that's going to have a ripple effect, and that's going to make the world, like when people see that the people that are up there are believing in God and are believing in Torah, believing in Judaism, so then that's going to make a real effect on the world. And so that's so he says here that it's a bigger thing. Anashim sheyesh lahem eza chashivus. I'm reading here from Tav Kuf Mem Gimel in Likkutei Moharan, and so he says that the biggest thing to be mekarev is to be mekarev the chashuv people, to get the people who are the big rock stars and the big movie stars and the influencers, the influential people.
That's what Ish does.
So they target the higher class people.
I mean, seems like it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Okay, so here Rebbe Nachman says, here you see like this is Rebbe Nachman's Torah on how important it is, how he wants us to all be involved in kiruv, and of course this is something that the Lubavitcher Rebbe was of course very, very much into, and he wanted every single chassid of his to be that this should be on his mind. That this should be that I don't want you to keep your Judaism to yourself. I want you to be aware of the fact that it's something that needs to be spread, and you have a responsibility. And he said that nobody should think that like who am I? Nobody should think that who am I to spread Judaism? I'm not the big rabbi. I haven't learned in yeshiva for so many years. Not such an expert. The Lubavitcher Rebbe would say that you know Aleph, so teach the word Aleph. And if you know even bet, so then go teach Aleph and bet. And if you whatever you know something, right? Whatever you know, so go teach it to the world. And like there's nothing too unimportant. There's nothing like, I mean, the truth is that there is something which is unimportant. That is something which is not real. There's people that they absolutely know nothing, and that's really tragic. That's really sad. If you don't know anything, if somebody asks you, tell me about your Judaism, say, I just do it because that's how I grew up. That's somebody was complaining to me about one of the chavrusos at a school that I used to teach that they asked the chavrusa tell me I'm thinking about taking on tzniut, tell me about it. Why are you tzniut? And she says, I just do it because that's how I grew up. That's tragic. That means you don't know. That means your Judaism is nothing to you. But if you know anything, if there's anything that you do that means something to you, so then you're already worthy. You're already qualified to spread that with the world. And there's nothing that is too small. And there's a beautiful teaching in Chazal. It says that in Parshat Amar that there's the pasuk says that Amor ala kohanim b'nei Aaron v'amarta aleihem l'nefesh le'yitama b'yamav. So Hashem says that Hashem says to Moshe, Amor ala kohanim, say to the kohanim, the children of Aaron, v'amarta aleihem, and say to them that they shouldn't become impure to a dead body. And so there's an obvious question: why does it say tell them twice? It says Amor, and then it says v'amarta. It's redundant. It's the same word twice. So Chazal explain that what does it mean Amor v'amarta? Lahazir g'dayim l'malaktanim. That it's coming to tell you that the older people have a responsibility to tell the younger people. So it's Amor, tell them, v'amarta. Tell the people, v'amarta, you have to go tell. Right. And so this is exactly what the Bavitch Rebbe said. That everything you know, whatever you are taught, whatever you are able to understand, v'amarta. Like v'amarta is part of the mitzvah. It's part of the obligation of receiving something. Is that we have an obligation to teach it. And this is something that really I once heard in the name of the Rambam that there's a mitzvah in the Torah to learn Torah. Learning Torah is one of the 613 mitzvahs. And the Rambam, when the Rambam describes the mitzvah of learning Torah, so he says the part of the mitzvah of learning Torah is to teach. If you're just learning and keeping it to yourself, if your Torah is staying by yourself, so then that's not really learning Torah. Real limud Torah, true limud Torah, by definition, has to continue. If it stops here, if you're the last stop of the Torah, then you didn't really learn. True Torah must be channeled. It must be that I'm taking and I'm giving. It's a flow. It's a flow, and if it's not going anywhere, then that means that I didn't get the real thing. I'm not part of Torah. If it's just stopping by me. I remember once I think I told you this that once Rav Hershel Schachter was heard about this that there was some Talmid Chacham that he was a big genius, super genius, and he was the chayzer for Baron Kotler, and he had such a memory. He would remember the Baron Kotler would give a shir for 3 hours straight, and he remembered it by heart, word for word, to the point that he would sometimes, to make a joke, he would sometimes make the same hand motions as a Baron, and he would cough at the same time the Baron coughed. He was such a super genius, and like Sir Schachter said, I heard that he doesn't really do anything. He just learns with his children. He doesn't really he never had yeshiva. He said it's tragic. It's tragic. There's so much Torah. He had so much Torah. How could he keep it to himself? How could he keep it to himself? How could he do such a thing? The world is thirsty. The world wants to know your Torah. You have so much Torah, and you're not sharing it with the world. So this is what it means that part of learning Torah is with the responsibility to share it, with the understanding that it can't stop with me, it needs to be spread. And the truth is, the Rebbe Nachman has another Torah where he explains that this is really that every single person, whether they know it or not, has an influence on people around them. And this is something that Rebbe Nachman teaches in Torah Nun Vav. And he says that every single person needs to know that they have people that are dependent on him or her. Mm-hmm. We all have people. We have a sphere of influence, and he says some people, so it's just the people around them. Sometimes it's just your family. Sometimes it's your neighbors. Sometimes it's your students. And he says sometimes it's the entire world. Sometimes there's people that the entire world is looking at you, but there's nobody that doesn't have this idea of influence. There's nobody in the world that isn't affecting people, and so part of the responsibility that we have as Jews is to embrace this influence that we have, to embrace the fact that we are created to be influences, and to be aware of the fact that we're constantly making a difference to the people around us, whether we are aware of it or not, and to make sure that we're doing it in the right way. Because if we're just spewing negativity and just like garbage whenever we're talking, we're always complaining. We're always telling people why we're frustrated. If we're just telling people that I don't really believe in this, I don't really believe in that, and so then we're it's tragic. It's tragic. So some people they use their microphone, they use their status for the worst things. People have it hurts me when sometimes people that they feel the need to rant and they feel the need to share their negativity with the world, just to get it off their chest. And it's really a shame. That's what friends are for. Are these people? It's so sad. They have no friends. They have nobody to talk to. I'm sure they have friends. I'm sure they have, but they think that they're being vulnerable. They think it's sweet that the world should see. No, you're not being sweet. You're filling the world with negativity. When you're the world doesn't need to hear all of your complaints. That's what your roommates are for. That's what your spouse is for. That's what you can keep your negativity to yourself and make the world into a brighter place. You use your microphone. What?
People enjoy connecting to their negativity, connecting to another.
Right, that's exactly what makes it so bad, because it ignites the negativity in others, and people are going to people to put comments and get the ball rolling even bigger, and of course it's going to change the algorithm. It's going to get spread even more, and so the negativity is going to fill the world with negativity. So a person needs to be aware. A person needs to be conscious of the fact that I'm making an effect on the world, and I need to be responsible. What is it that I'm spreading? What is it that I'm sharing with the world? Okay, so now this is something that we need to know, that it's built into who we are. It's built into our responsibility as Jews, and we have the ability to do it, and we have the capability to do it. That I remember reading once that Rebbe Nachman, so he was learning in the Likkutei Yeshiva, and he went to the previous Lubavitch Rebbe, the Riatz, and so the Riatz told him that I want you to be Mashliach. I want you to start spreading Torah, spreading Judaism in the world. And so the Rebbe he was learning yeshiva, and he said, Rabbi, I'm not ready yet. There's so much I don't know. I just started my study in yeshiva. I've learned a couple of masechtas. I have so many masechtas I haven't learned yet. So much Shulchan Aruch I haven't learned yet. Maybe come back to me in 30 years, and maybe I'll. And so he tells that the Riatz looked him in the eye, and he said, maybe just for a moment you could stop thinking about yourself.
Right.
That it's very true from a very selfish perspective. So I want to finish Shas, I want to finish Shulchan Aruch, but maybe you should just stop being so full of yourself. Maybe the world needs you. Maybe you're here not just for yourself. Maybe you're here actually to make the world into a better place. And just this is such a basic switch in mentality that I'm not just here for myself. I have a responsibility to Klal Yisrael, whether it's big, whether it's small. But I'm not just here for myself. I remember hearing one of my teachers. His name is Rabbi Eberbav. And Rabbi Yirmiyahu Abramoff, and so he told us once that his beginning, his entrance to the world of Kiruv was that he was learning in yeshiva, and Rabbi Akiva Tatz sat next to him on a bus randomly, and he didn't know who he was, and he started a conversation. That's what Rebbe Nachman says. You have to just start having conversations with everybody that you meet. So Rabbi Tatz started speaking to Rabbi Abramoff and said, "Hey, how you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing in life?" So he said, "I'm learning yeshiva." And he said, "And what are you doing for Klal Yisrael?" And that was and he didn't know what to say. He didn't know that was the first time in his life somebody asked him, "What are you doing for Klal Yisrael?" And those 5 words changed his life. Just the realization that I need to do something for Klal Yisrael. This is, every Jew needs to ask himself, what am I doing for Klal Yisrael? It could be something small. It doesn't have to be something. It doesn't have to be something that the world is going to know who you are. But everybody needs to live with this understanding that I'm not just living for myself. Now, of course, it comes. Everything in the life needs balance. If a person is going to just only live for Klal Yisrael and forget themselves on any level, and certainly on a physical level, if they're going to not take care of themselves physically, if they're not going to sleep enough, not going to eat enough, then because they don't eat and sleep enough, so then they're going to go die. So then that's not what Hashem wants, right? But it's just as important on a spiritual level. If a person isn't going to ask themselves how am I doing just between me and Hashem, just between with my personal spiritual goals. How am I growing? And people, once you start having an effect on people around you. So it's so easy to forget about this. It's so easy to, like, when it comes to Yom Kippur, to say, okay, Hashem, like, I know that the most important thing is how many people are and like, I know that, like, you don't really care my personal learning. You don't really care about my personal davening. And like, no. Your first responsibility is you and Hashem. I think that the way that Rebbe Nachman is presenting this, it's not that this is something else. It's that part of our personal responsibility to Hashem, part of that is to care for Klal Yisrael. It's not that I'm becoming a person who cares about Klal Yisrael at the expense of my personal relationship with Hashem. Is that part of my personal relationship with Hashem is the fact that I care about the world around me, and I don't think that it's just about me. Yeah.
It's kind of like, that Torah that you do learn. It's like the Chanukah. Mm-hmm. That light turns on, and then you can share it with another. It becomes so inspirational to yourself that you have to share it.
Beautiful.
Help another person.
Mm-hmm. It's like if I'm not full of light, if my heart is not on fire, so then I won't be able to brighten up the streets, right? It starts from the inside, and from the inside, so that it overflows, and that's precisely the way to go about it. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so Rebbe Nachman continues. In the Torah that we're learning, in Torah Yud Daled, he says that this is also hinted to. Not only we say he's so far he spoke about the place, about the location, and he says that this is also hinted to in the time frame of lighting Chanukah candles. V'zehu, he writes, says man hadlakat ner Chanukah, shehu erat hakavod, that lighting Chanukah, which is all about spreading Hashem's honor, hu mishad yitziat hakochavim. That when does it start? It starts from when the stars come out. Okay, so this is a dispute in halacha. The Gemara says mishatishka achama. That at a simple level, mishatishka achama means from the time that the sun sets. But the Shulchan Aruch brings from Mishnah that mishatishka achama, it doesn't say mishkiat achama, it says mishatishka achama. It means that after the sun is finished setting, which actually means nightfall, not sunset. So, which halachically means when the stars come out. Okay, so there's different customs. Some people light closer to sunset. Some people light closer to when the stars come out. So the Chazon Ish writes, if you do 20 minutes after, so then you do both. It's close enough. It's close enough to sunset. It's still considered sunset. It's close enough to when the stars come out. So that's what he said is the best way to meet all of the criteria. And he says, so he's going with the Shulchan Aruch. He's going with the Shulchan Aruch it's from the Tzeit HaKochavim. And he says that the Gemara says from Tzeit HaKochavim, Ad shetich l'regel min hashuk. So what does that mean? Mishatich l'regel min hashuk. Until there's no more people walking around. Regel is legs. There's no more people walking around in the shuk. So he says that why is the time of lighting Chanukah licht? Why does it start from Tzeit HaKochavim? So he quotes from a pasuk in Daniel. It says, Matzdikei harabim kekochavim. That the pasuk says that those who are matzdikei harabim, those who caused the community to be bigger tzaddikim, matzdikei harabim, to make the people on the outside, to make them into bigger tzaddikim, to help them come closer, to help them be inspired. So those people that they devote their life to matzdikei harabim, to spreading light, they're kokochavim. They're like stars. They're like stars. So the pasuk in Daniel refers to those people that you're a superstar. You are a star. So those are the stars. And so I heard once the people those are the people the people that are helping people become Bali Tshuva, helping people be inspired, helping people convert. People so that is what spreads Hashem's glory. And so that there's something very interesting about this. That the first of all, what is special about Kochavim, about being a star. Like we say that Hashem compares the Jewish people to stars, right? That Hashem tells Abraham that your children are going to be like the stars. So what's special about the stars is that from afar they look like something very small, but the reality is that they're huge. That they're very when we look at them, they appear like something small, but the truth is that they're so much bigger. Like we compare the sun to the stars, so we think that the sun is bigger than the stars.
Isn't the sun a star?
Yeah, sure. But the truth is that all the stars that we see in the sky at the night are much greater than the sun. And it's only because of the distance that they seem to be so much smaller. But the truth is that every star is much greater than the sun. And that is anybody who's involved in outreach. So like they're naturally they're not the ones that getting any big honor in the community. Like they're not the Rebbe of the Shul. They're not the Rosh Hashiva. They're not they're the people hanging out in in the bars. They're the ones hanging out in the shuk. They're the ones hanging out just like hanging out with people, like meeting people where they are. And so naturally you're not going to be the high class of the yeshivish world, and so like it looks like you look like a little light. You look like a little light, and the Torah is telling you, like Daniel is telling us, that like those people, they're the greatest. They have so much more light. They have so much more light than the Rosh Hashiva, than the Rav. That's like you have no idea how much light it requires to be able to light up somebody who's in the darkest place. Now, Rebbe Nachman has a famous teaching that the person who's the sickest, the most sick patient, needs the greatest doctor. So the person, when the person is is almost dead, so then he needs to go to the best, the world class surgeon. Like a person who's just like he has a cold, so then he can go to the regular whatever doctor in the clinic. But like when you're really in danger, then you need the world expert. So like for the people that like they're okay, they need a rabbi to give them a good Rosh on Shabbos, and that's what they need. So for them, you can have like your over-the-counter rabbi. But the person who's like really sick, person who's like really ready to give up, the person who's really just like doesn't care, so they need the biggest tzaddik. They need the biggest chacham. They need the biggest light. And so that's what Rebbe Nachman is saying, that those people that are able to help people that are not connected, so it's only because their light is the greatest. Their light is much greater than the people that look like the sun. That's point number one. Point number two is that the stars. So during the day you actually can't see the stars. Like nobody sees the stars during the day. The moon sometimes you can see, but the stars you can never see during the day. And when we talk about that Mishratishka Chama is Tzedek Kochavim, that the stars are unique, that you can only recognize the stars because of the darkness. Wow. You can only see the stars because of the darkness. That if there wouldn't be darkness, then you wouldn't recognize these stars at all. So these Matzdikei Harabim, that like the ability to bring people from the outside into the inside. So they're actually, you don't appreciate them until you have a certain darkness. Mm-hmm. And it's only Mishatishka Cham, it's only because of the darkness in the world. If there wouldn't be a darkness, then we would never appreciate these people. And these people that we wouldn't see the greatness. And it's when, Chas v'shalom, when we know somebody that really needs help, when somebody they're close to is given up, and they want to intermarry, Chas v'shalom, they want to just completely leave Judaism, then when there's a crisis, then when there's a darkness, then we call it, oh, actually I have a friend in London who maybe can help you, and he's such a nice guy, and then these people, these nobodies, then they have their moment in the spotlight, and that because of the Tishka Chama, because of the darkness, so that's how these stars are able to shine. Okay, so this is the beginning of the time. So Rebbe Nachman continues that the mitzvah of Chanukah is Mishatishka Chama, which is Tzedek Kochavim, at Tichla Regal Min Hashuk. Right. So what does it mean Tichla Regal Min Hashuk? Until that there's nobody walking out in the shuk. So Rebbe Nachman says that, what does it mean? What does it mean regal? What does it mean tichla regal min hashuk? So he says the regal is a connotation of lashon hara, lashon hara and dispute and fighting. Why? Because the pasuk says in Tehillim that it says lo ragal al lashana. In Tehillim Tezvav, it says that David HaMelech refers to a person that does not speak lashon hara is lo ragal al lashana. Okay, so the word regal, the word l'ragel has a connotation of slander, of gossip.
But
So
spying, no?
also the meraglim is connected to that, and so lo ragal al lashana means that a person that doesn't make fights, doesn't stir the pot. No, not the pot.
That's an expression. Stirring the pot.
Stirring the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stirring the fire.
No,
Stirring the
stirring the pot.
Stirring,
I think it's
stirring the pot. Okay. I stand corrected.
Because I'm
So
Israeli.
Acha tichle regel min hashuk means this is a reference to the nobody speaking lashon hara, and this is a reference, as Rebbe Nachman, this is a reference to bringing world peace. That we're going to light the candles, we're going to light our Chanukah licht, we're going to light our Chanukah candles, mishatish chama, from the time that the stars start shining, which means we're going to light our Chanukah gifts from the time that we start spreading light, we start inspiring people from the outside, and this is going to continue until there won't be any machloket, until there won't be any fighting, until there won't be any disagreement. And this is how Chanukah, outreach, spreading light, what does it do? It actually brings world peace. And this is the end result. This is the goal of Chanukah, is to bring peace into the world. Okay, so this is a fascinating take. And so I was thinking to myself, where did Rebbe Nachman get? Where did Rebbe Nachman get this idea that the part of Chanukah is about bringing world peace? It's about bringing, it's not really part of the narrative. It's not really part of the Chanukah story. Is that they tried to get rid of our Judaism and we fought back and we killed them and we that's not exactly world peace, you know. And so where does Rebbe Nachman see peace as being a theme of Chanukah? So I thought that one of the big narratives of Chanukah is the holiday of Torah Sheba'al Peh. It's the holiday of the oral Torah. Why? Because Chanukah is the one holiday that it's absolutely not in Tanakh. Right? There's two rabbinic holidays. There's Purim and Chanukah, but Purim at least has Megillah, has Megillah Esther, right? So Chanukah is the only holiday that has absolutely no grounding in Tanakh. So it is the holiday of the oral Torah. So what's very interesting is that one of the biggest things about Torah Sheba'al Peh is that Talmidei Chachamim mabim shalom ba'olam. That Chazal tell us that one of the jobs of Talmidei Chachamim is to create peace in the world. And this is why about 6 or 7 different Masechtas of Shas, so it ends, the Masechet of Shas ends with the Pasuk, Hashem oz le'amar yiten, Hashem mevarech et amav shalom. Like that is the way that a lot of Masechtas of Torah Sheba'al Peh, they end with this prayer, with the statement, Hashem oz le'amar yiten, Hashem mevarech et amav shalom, that Hashem will bring peace in the world. And that's because there's something about Torah Sheba'al Peh, there's something about oral Torah. The oral Torah has this energy of being able to bring peace into the world. So how is that? How is it that the oral Torah brings peace into the world? So the answer is very simple, because anybody that's ever learned Gemara, so what is Gemara full of? Arguments. It's right. Like one of the first Hebrew words that some of my students learn is machloket, because whatever question they ask, the answer is always, well, actually it's a machloket, you know. And so there's nothing that Chazal seem to agree, and that's actually not true. You know, there's a story with Reb Chaim Soloveitchik that once like a maskal, somebody from the Enlightenment, came over to Reb Chaim and he told them that, you rabbis, you can't agree on anything. Everything in the entire Shas is a disagreement. And so Reb Chaim thought for a moment and he said, it's not true. It's not true. That there's more things in Shas that are agreed upon than things which aren't agreed upon. And so they told the story to the Chavetz Chaim, and the Chavetz Chaim was like astounded. And for the next he was going on some train ride, and for the next 4 hours he was just thinking. He was going through, by memory, he was going through the entire Shas. And after 4 hours of analyzing the statement, he said, oh my gosh, he's right. He's right, but there's more things in Shas that are agreed upon than things which. So, but you can understand why a person would have this misunderstanding that there's everything. We seem to everything seems to be some point of disagreement, and so when you speak things out, when you have different sides of a question, different sides of a debate, so then the only way to really be successful in debates is to really understand what the other side is saying. Right? To the point that I like to say that like I've told you this before, that if you, in any meaningful discussion, if you can't eloquently present the opposite side, then your opinion is irrelevant. Like, if that just means you don't get it. If you can't explain the other side of the question, that means that you don't realize that this is actually a serious question. I don't mean that everything like yeah, I do like taking cocaine, I don't mean like that, but like if you can't understand, if you can't understand why a person wouldn't believe in God, then why you believe in God is irrelevant. Right? If you can't understand that there's two sides to every question, then you haven't begun to have a conversation about it. So by definition, in any kind of conversation, any kind of machloket, so the only way to actually have a true machloket is only by appreciating what you're not saying, is appreciating the other side. And that's why that the more that, and this is only in through Torah Sheba'al Peh, when something is written down, so it is what it is. There's no room for two ways to look at something. Torah Sheba'al Peh brings with it the ability to have two perspectives, and once we have two perspectives, so then we're able to come to a deeper understanding, and that's what I think Rebbe Nachman is saying over here. That part of the idea of spreading light, part of the idea of outreach, requires that you're going to be talking to people that don't understand what you're talking about, and it requires that you're going to be able to be questioned. You're able to have critique, and once you have critique, so it actually brings you to a deeper place of shalom. When you're able to have a Torah that is not only catering to a person that grew up with the system, a Torah that can actually be appreciated by somebody that is completely on the outside, so that's a greater Torah. That is a Torah which is more full of light, and that is the shalom that the Matzdik Rabbim is bringing. That is that means that the more that you get involved in Kiruv, the more that you have these discussions, so that the deeper your Torah becomes, the deeper your Emunah becomes, the deeper your connection becomes, and this is really the greatest piece. So Rebbe Nachman is saying the part of what's happening, the part of what we're accomplishing by spreading light, is actually that by having these confrontations, by obviously without being killed by anti-Semites, but to be able to present ourselves to the world in a safe way, and be able to spread our light and be questioned and have these conversations. So this is actually how we're going to make world peace. The more that we're going to shut ourselves off, let's just be to ourselves. I don't want to talk to anybody else. So then the world is going to demonize us, and the world is going to hate us, and the way they're actually going to have world peace is specifically by having these conversations. And as uncomfortable as it might be, because we know that they probably are judging us. They probably think that we're crazy. They probably think that we're fanatics. They probably think that we have horns. And to have these conversations and to be able to explain where we're coming from this place of conviction. And so just having these conversations, just having these connections, these simple connections. So that is an idea of spreading light, and that is ultimately what B'ezrat Hashem will bring world peace. B'ezrat Hashem, l'chaim.